Hey guys, I'm Brent.
I'm Julie.
We're Emerald Ambassadors from Pensacola, Florida, and we have an exciting guest tonight. So excited to have Sonia Dudley on our hangout tonight. But Julie, our pastor preached a message on transformation today, and there's one quote that he gave that I really want you to hit tonight.
Okay, it says, the way you think determines the way you feel, which determines the way you behave.
Well, that is so true, and you got to get your mindset right. And when we asked Sonia to be on our hangout tonight, we asked her to speak specifically towards mindset, and that's very, very important. Our guest tonight is Sonia Dudley. Sonia is a Diamond Senior Gold Ambassador with Plexus, and she had a career for, I think it was about 17 years. Is that right, Sonia? With your other business, and she swore that she would never ever do home sales again, and thank God that all changed, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I know that you said in your bio that you were very reluctant about Plexus, and it says you were working a full-time job and you were commuting 45 miles to work and working retail hours and Saturdays. 3 Saturdays a month, and then you finally decided that Plexus was going to be for you. 6 months after joining Plexus, you hit Emerald Ambassador. 2 months after that, you hit Sapphire, and then 2 months after that, you finished with Diamond position. That's amazing rocket position. And your power partner is Miss Helen McFadden, right? You guys are besties.
Yes, 20-something years.
That's awesome. And you guys' recruiter is Sheila Medina. And for those in Pensacola know that Sheila came here, and she really mentored me and Julie in our process. I think she's like 20 levels up from us. But she came and she poured into our team here. And, it really means it is one Plexus. And in your end of your bio, you said, I'm so grateful to God who simply answered my prayer and gave me the courage to trust him that day when I made the decision to go full-time. And we're glad that you went full-time because you are the epitome of one Plexus. And I'm so thankful that you're on our hangout tonight. And I'd like you to share with our team, if you would. I know you're going to talk about mindset and momentum tonight, but we're just going to throw it your way and let you take it.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Julie, both of you. I remember when I started Plexus, and I remember as Helen and our journey was progressing, I remember Sheila talking about you too. I remember her specifically talking about this couple who their goal was to just make enough money to put braces. I believe I'm right. Is this you? Put braces on your daughter's teeth? Am I right? Yeah. I remember that. That was early on in our journey, and so, yeah, I've known about you guys for a long time, and then got to know you a little bit better as we went along our journey. But thank you for having me tonight, and thanks for all the kind words. And, you kind of summed up a lot of my journey. So I'll tell you that when, people say, because, I had not only had I done that one business for 17 years, but I got really, really sick is why I kind of gave that up. I was burnt out and I was sick, and so it was God's timing in saying, get well, try to get well. So I just tried to get well for about 15 months. I was pretty much in bed, really sick, and I had fibromyalgia, and I mean, there were most days I could not get out of bed. It wasn't some days, it was most days. And during that 15 months, I tried a couple of other network marketing companies that required less or no home parties, no inventory, things that I thought, I loved the industry. I love the idea that the more I help people, the more it helps me, so I don't have to be focused, and which is, our preacher today talked about how being self-centered was so not what God wants. And so I think about network marketing, we can be very others focused. and then we, in return, we get what we want because we're focused on others, which is so biblical. Love God, love others. You know, that's the two greatest commandments. So I've always loved the industry, but I was burnt out on, I was in debt up to my ears from one of the businesses. I was just tired of selling and convincing my friends and family. And so after about 7 years from the time I quit the one business, I had a 7-year gap where I was getting well. I tried a couple other things. And then for about 4 or 5 years, I was working for other people. And I bought a couple of traditional businesses in the meantime. And because I always had that dream in my heart, okay, well, maybe it's not network marketing, but maybe I still need to work for me because, you know, I really want to be able to be with my family and control my hours. There was always been something in me that knew that if I could keep my priorities in order, it matched up with what, I mean, God gives you desires, and He gave me that desire, so you can't argue with that. And so when Plexus came along, Helen and I had pretty much said never, ever, ever, because I had drug her into one of the others that I was in. And so she said, you know, Sonia, what if this is different, though? What if this helps your pain? What if it helps your weight issues? Because I've always fluctuated 30 pounds since high school. What if it helps your sleeping? What if it helps your cholesterol? Because I've always had over 260, 280, 330 was my highest cholesterol, yay. And she said, you know, what if it helps that? And I said, well, I mean, yeah, okay. If it helps all those things, then sure. And so here's what I can tell you. I was skeptical, but I still thought, it's $35. Okay, what if it works? Because if it doesn't work, we don't have to tell anyone we've done anything because we're just trying the products, right? We're going to try the products. But we said, if it works, we're going to tell everyone, and this could be what we've always been praying for. And I can tell you the first week, you know, it made all the difference in my life. In 1 week, I knew, and Helen's too, but I had a lot more issues than Helen. And she'll tell you that. You know, for me, when the pain was gone, I was sleeping all night. I had energy like never before. I wasn't craving sweets the first day. I didn't even want my soft drinks anymore. I knew that it was something amazing. And so I just started, you know, posting on Facebook. I was telling people everywhere I went, people who I worked with, people I went to church with, people that my children's school, they'd be like, what are you doing? You know, you look like you feel good. What? And so I just made a point to always talk about it, and I was very consistent in posting. I did not post things that were salesy, and I think that's the key in really being successful in the business is when you're posting about your own personal daily activity. People want to know about your life. People who are your friends on Facebook, they're curious about you. And so it needs to be about you in the beginning, and that's what I did. Short little blurbs, and it was a way to draw people and engage people into me and not be about, you know, I've got to sell something. It was just more about, wow, man, I feel great. Boy, this is amazing. Never felt so good. Another medicine I'm off of. And people then would start asking. And so 10 weeks after I started Plexus, I'm telling you, I really felt like God was saying loud and clear, if you would work this, if you had time to work this and would make time, this could be your career. So I kept thinking, okay, you're right. I'm making, you know, maybe, I don't know, whatever. I had not replaced my income, but I knew that if I could be proactive, I could. And so I just felt very strongly that He was screaming at me, saying, quit your job. And I'm not telling anybody to go quit their job, but I'm telling you that it was so clear. There were so many signs and indications. So that's what I did. And it was the best decision I've ever made. And let me tell you, it doesn't mean things will always be smooth when you take a leap of faith. You know, he doesn't promise us that, but it has been worth it. Because had I not had all kinds of bumps in the road in my journey, and you know, things to overcome, and objections, and people who quit, and you know, customers quit, had I not had all those things happen, I wouldn't be the leader I am today. So, you know, you learn to embrace and welcome, and you learn to look at those things as a blessing. And as John Maxwell says all the time, it's, you know, you're failing forward to success. There's no such thing as failing, ever. No one can fail. Think about when you rode a bicycle and you're learning to ride a bicycle. Did you get on the bicycle as a child and ride the bicycle? No. You fell down, you skinned your knees, you had to have help. Were you failing? No. You were learning to ride the bicycle. We're learning how to be good leaders. We're learning how to engage with people. We're learning how to connect with people. You know, it's like when you go out and you want to talk to someone, and you're feeling this resistance of, you know, I want to say something to this lady who's talking about her diabetes. I want to talk to her, but what if she asks me something I don't know? What if she thinks I'm stupid? What if she looks at me and says, no, thank you, please don't talk to me again? What if? And we don't do it. Well, if we continue to live in that mindset and that mentality about ourselves, see, that's very self-centered. You may think that that's very much just fear. It is fear, but it's also very selfish because it's self-centered. Because, see, it's almost like you should say to people, and I've done this before, you know what, ma'am? This is very much out of my comfort zone. I can tell you right now, I'm terrified to even open my mouth. But I heard you talking about your diabetes, and I could not leave here today without at least telling you about something that I feel like could make a difference in your situation. It may not, but I have to at least tell you about it. You may think I'm crazy, and she's going to be like, oh my gosh, what is it? You know, see, she's like, what do you have for me? She's not going, yeah, you're right, I kind of think you're crazy for even speaking up. She hears and feels your passion, your honesty, your humbleness in saying, I feel stupid even saying this. I'm scared to death. I don't normally do this. It's out of my comfort zone. So what you've done is you've humbled yourself to someone. You've been honest. You've took down that wall to where they look at you in a whole different light. They view you as someone who really cares so much about the other person that you do it anyway. You get over yourself. I mean, I just think that's been key for me in life, in building every business I've been in. It's been about connecting with other people and truly being honest, humble, goofing up, stumbling, not having a business card with me, but going, you know what, ma'am, I almost didn't talk to you because I don't have any more business cards with me. But I could not leave here without talking to you. You know, I've got a scratch piece of paper. We're going to go with that route. I mean, being goofy. It's okay to be goofy. That has been key for me. And I think that if you have a stumbling block about talking to other people or saying something about Plexus, you know, oh, I can talk to people all day about my children or, you know, whatever, but when it comes to Plexus, I can't. Well, if you want to move on and move forward, you have to quit saying that and verbalizing it, and you have to fix it. And so one of the biggest things I can tell you that's been key in my business, I wish you could see I don't know what you can see. I told Brent, this Google thing, back there, but you can see a lot more than on Zoom. But if you look back there on that whiteboard.
Yeah, I see that.
And, okay, I have a lot of affirmations on that whiteboard. I put,
okay.
It is worth it, lean and healthy. I love to burn fat. The fat is melting fast. Champions are created by their daily routine, only recognized in the ring. My business is exploding. All kinds I have other small ones about my business, but things that are tough for me, things I struggle with, things that I want to happen, I make affirmations about them, and I read them so often throughout the day. I just look over at the wall, and I just read it. And just like Julie was saying, you know, what your pastor was saying this morning, you know, what you feed your mind controls how you feel, which controls your behavior. It's biblical. It's biblical. It's science also. It's the truth. It's, you know, if you verbalize, I want you to think about this. And I've had a lot of this training over the years with John Maxwell, with Les Brown, with several other mentors. But if someone tells you, you know, if someone tells you your entire life, maybe you were blessed enough to be raised in a home where you never doubted that you could be the President of the United States because your parents told you every day, you're a rock star. You can do anything. You're smarter than anyone I know. You're you know, you're the prettiest kid in class. You're the brightest kid in class. And then you believed it, and you did great things, and you said to people, you know, I look at that and go, yeah, that I've been told that was a pretty tough thing to do, but you know what? I didn't know any better. I just did it. I believed I could do it. You all have heard people say stuff like that.
Right.
But
right.
if you've told you, yeah. But if you've been told your whole life things like, you know, no one in our family has ever went to college. Why do you think you could? You know, just words that have not been very uplifting. You know, you're not very smart. You're not as smart as the other kids, so why don't you just do this? You know what? I don't think you ought to strive for that, because what if you don't get the part in the play? How's that going to make you feel? And so you just learn to settle, and you take those words and you believe them, whether you believe them or not. You internalize them, and your subconscious mind takes that on as the truth.
So do you think that's what happens in general with a lot of people? They just settle in their mind that I can't do this, or, you know, I will never be successful at this because all of this garbage that's been fed into me, I'm just regurgitating?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things I teach when I go and do a John Maxwell course, like it's an all-day Saturday, 6 hours, but I teach about, you know, you have these two circles. You have your subconscious you have this inner self who is all that stuff. And then you have this little bubble over here, which is like where you want to be, things you want, the goals, where you say, I would love to be a diamond ambassador. I want to be that. But then as you start to talk about it or think about it, you have this little monster that starts saying, and you don't even know it, but you kind of feel this hesitancy, and it goes, right, that would be nice. That's for other people, but that's not for you. You know, oh yeah, right. Think about all the things in your way. Like, do you have time to do that? Seriously? You can't talk to people. Think about how you are, Brent, when you walk out of the house. You know how all those, you flub up, you don't know what to say. So then you go back to that, and you're like, you're hearing that, and the only way to free yourself from that is to do the affirmations, to reprogram the mind. And it sounds crazy, but if you know, I'll tell you that the best year I ever had in my business that I was in for 17 years the highest, best year I ever had was the year that, and we used to have cassette tapes. I know you guys remember them because you're my age, but there's a lot of people on the call.
I don't remember. I don't even know what a cassette tape is. So what is that?
I remember crack.
You do too. Whatever. Well, a cassette tape for your younger generation, it's like a CD or MP3. But anyway, so I took the cassette tape, and it was called an endless loop tape. And I recorded all my positive affirmations, current form, present tense, like things I was scared to talk to people that I didn't know. So one of my affirmations was something like, oh my goodness, I love walking out the door every day with absolutely no fear, and I draw people to me everywhere I go. I enjoy talking to people everywhere I go. I absolutely have no fear. Things like that. So the things that I was afraid of, I turn them into positive current statements. And I played that tape all night long as I slept. I slept with earphones in, and that tape played repeatedly all night long. It reprogrammed my mind. I would wake up, and things would happen through the day, and I would think, wow, how did I talk to that person? I didn't even have a hesitancy. I thought I would. Wonder why. I reprogrammed my subconscious. The deepest fears I had, I changed them. Wow. That was the highest year I'd ever had. And I'm just saying there's something to it. And if you will do that, it's the only thing that's going to get rid of those old messages you're hearing. And when you hear those old messages, your mindset, when you hear that, let that be a key for you. Let it be a signal. When you hear your dad or your mom or your grandmom or a teacher or a Sunday school teacher say something to you or someone that holds you back, I want you to take that phrase they say to you, and I want you to write it down. And then I want you to write one that counteracts it, and I want you to claim that new one and start saying that new one all the time to yourself. Because when someone says something to you out loud, you hear it and you internalize it, okay? So when you talk to yourself all day long and you say to yourself out loud, oh, no, I can't do that, I'm broke. You've just verbalized to yourself out loud, I'm broke. And your mind goes, okay, you're broke. I'm going to make that happen. I'll make sure you stay broke. I'll make sure that happens. That sounds good. You say it enough, I'm getting good at it. So when you start to say something out loud that is not what you want in your life, let it be a trigger to go, you know what, Susie, I would love to go shoe shopping with you, but you know what, I'm choosing to do something different with my money right now, but thank you very much. And don't verbalize I'm broke. Verbalize, you know, I'm doing something different with my money. I'm choosing to save my money. We're saving money. I'm excited to save money. And just start verbalizing what you want to happen instead of all that stuff we negatively say that we don't even know we say. It can really make a difference in the outcome of your life.
Well, you know, we don't have cassette tapes anymore, which I do remember cassette tapes, unfortunately. But all of us that have smartphones have a voice recorder on our phones, and we can do those affirmations there. And I think that's a fabulous idea, you know,
yes.
For us to do that. I know when I was in Phoenix with you, I taught with you, and that the night after we talked, I had a mindset shift in my mind about our business. You know, our team knows that we're going through some tough times, but you know, I had to get my mind focused like it needs to be, and since then I've been pouring positive things into my life. I listened to Mastermind Event, you know, Orrin Woodward, you know, Art Jonak, all of these guys, Richard Brooke, and I was mowing the yard today on a Sunday. Sorry that I admitted that I was mowing on a Sunday, but we had life group at our house and I had to clean the yard. But I was listening to Richard Brooke, you know, interview somebody today on a podcast. So it's those little things that you put in your mind and you listen to, those affirmations, that really help focus you and change you. I believe that.
Absolutely. And you know, as far as creating the momentum on your team, people ask me this question all the time. You know, how do you get momentum going? You know, it starts with your mindset and your decision, because when your mindset is so clear and you've drawn your line in the sand, your people will follow the people that are going to follow, and other than that, you're going to go get new people, and you're bringing on a whole new set of excitement, and people want to be around people that are going places and are positive and believe. They get tired of people that are doubtful and fearful and cautious. There's enough of that in the world. And so you're exactly right. It is a mindset shift, and that's all it is. And, you know, everyone has it in them. Everyone.
I was listening to Richard Brooks today, and he was interviewing Garrett and Sylvia McGrath, and I don't even know what company they're with. It doesn't really matter. But he was talking about how can you gain momentum, and he said anybody can start where they're at right now. And he said if you just focus yourself for 90 days, you will get what you need in those 90 days to give you the momentum to build your business to wherever you want to go. And he said it doesn't matter whether it's you're coming into the business now or you've been in the business for 20 years. It doesn't matter. You just have to get that mindset that you're going to do it, and you're going to contact this many people a day, and after 90 days your business will be where it needs to be. And he said he was a firm believer in that. And it was interesting that, you know, you were talking about how you have to have your mindset, because that's kind of how they were talking. Get your mind right, get your focus right, and you'll go where you need to go.
Yeah.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
No, we're good. You go ahead.
I have just a couple questions for you. In your first year, how many personal recruits would you say that you recruited in your first year of business? Your level one.
Level ones. I'm gonna say about 55, maybe 60 in my first year.
You're rocking and rolling. You're rocking and rolling in your first year, so you averaged 4 or 5 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of those that you recruited, how much of, like 75% of your business is generated out of how many legs? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Rocking legs.
Yeah,
Do you have? Would you say?
Probably. 4 to 5 legs. 4 to 5 legs. 4 legs, maybe. I'm not sure at what levels you're talking about, but 400 or 500 points or more per leg is kind of what I'm thinking. Probably 4 to 5 now, after almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years next week. Yeah.
That is kind of the statistic that I hear from all of these things that I listen to, the people that they recruit, because it doesn't recruit all these people, which is great, and they'll be steady in your business, but you never know which person it is going to be that's going to really take off and light up. One thing that I think is interesting about your community, you have how many jewels in your little bitty town?
Well, I'm thinking now
area.
We have 8 or 9, but there's been 10 that has come out of it. Like Elizabeth was here, and she moved to Alaska, and but she grew up here 2 miles from me, and now she's the first diamond in Alaska. So, and then Lori Welch, who is in California, she lives here in the summertime because her daughter, who's a jewel here, lives here. So, there's like 10 of us, but the 2 of them are kind of gone. But so there's 8, but I think there's 4 diamonds here full time, and then when they're here, there's 6 diamonds.
Okay,
and that's crazy.
And your community is how large?
Well, our community, we have like 900 people, but in our countywide, we have about 7,000. We have 2 red lights, 1 high school, and everyone knows everyone. It's crazy because when I started Plexus, no one here knew what it was, so it was hard. It was like, it was like I had to hit the pavement, and I had to get all I don't want to try that till everyone else has it. So it wasn't as easy. People think, I wish I could have been first. we have it great now because there's so many more testimonies. We have catalogs now. It's just things are really interesting now. But that goes to show you that it doesn't matter the size of the town you're in. It matters the size of your dream.
Oh, I love that.
Good.
Yeah,
I love that. It doesn't matter the size of your town. It matters your dream.
The size of your dream.
It's the size of your dream, because you have 7,000 people there with 6 diamonds. 6 diamonds. People,
well,
people, go ahead.
Well, there's 4 diamonds here all the time, but there's 8 of us that live here, and we all have to take a cooler and drive to Walmart or Whole Foods in Nashville to get our food. I mean, we really do live far out from anything. The closest Walmart is about 30 minutes, but it's a small Walmart. So, I mean, I don't even go to that one. It's there's like 3 or 4 of us in the same small church of 150 people that are Jules. So.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
So, no market is saturated. There's people everywhere for everybody. Now, you are a certified coach, trainer, and speaker with John Maxwell. And Maxwell, the man himself, is just, oh my goodness, he's just amazing, isn't he?
Isn't he?
What are your thoughts on him?
What are my thoughts on him?
Yeah,
I just think
in what he's done with leadership.
When I say the word leadership, he's who I think about. Because he is an influencer of people, and he is an influencer of people because he walks the walk, and he has earned the title, the respect. He has integrity, he has morals. There's just no better person to teach on leadership than John Maxwell, in my opinion. He's written like 70-something #1 books. And he's so good because he's a storyteller. His books are so easy to read because they're so engaging and he relates to people. He's a true connector of people. And I think that's what we need to learn is when we're out and about, it's about the people. It's not about us and our agenda. I love to just smile all the time. I love to just, wherever I'm at, walking, I'm always smiling at everyone I walk by. And I'm thinking, what if that's the only positive light in their day? And that's the attitude and that's the mentality we must have. We must have a servant's heart, a giver's heart. How can I add value to people today? John Maxwell said, I was with him in February, and he said, if the world had the same agenda, and the agenda was this, how can I add value to you today? The world would be a perfect place. If that was everyone's agenda, how can I add value to other people today? We'd be in a perfect world, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we? Wow. He's brilliant.
Well, we enjoyed him. I know Julie and I, Lindalen was at the event with Maxwell down here in Pensacola, and he's just, I've been in a crowd with him where there's 1,500, and I've been in the crowd where there's 6, 7, 8,000, and he just knows how to connect. Just eat, you're eating out of his hand when he speaks, and it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sonia, we thank you for being the epitome of one plexus, and for always having a positive attitude and always having a smile. You always have a smile, and that just means the world to us. And one thing about you, you're very approachable. When you're around, people come up to you and speak, and you're always there and always have a kind word, and I really appreciate that about you. And I appreciate you giving up a little bit of your time on a Sunday evening to speak to our team about mindset, because it's something all of us need to hear. It's very vital. So thank you so much for your time, and
thank
we appreciate
you,
it. We love you.
I love you too.
Lindalen, did we have any other questions that you saw?
No questions tonight. Everybody's just soaking it in, I think.
Okay, I had a few, so I gave you the ones that we need. But again, Sonia, thank you for coming. If you don't mind, I'm going to pray, and then we will call it a night. Let's pray. Father, thank you for the opportunity that we've had to be encouraged and trained by Sonia tonight. And Father, I pray that you would continue to bless her business and her journey. And it amazes me how, Lord, after so many years of having health problems, how you brought one pink drink into her life. And that one pink drink and one business plan totally, radically transformed her life, both physically and financially. And Lord, only you can do something like that, and we're grateful. And I love the thought, Lord, it doesn't matter the size of the town, it matters the size of your dream. And Lord, help us to have those big dreams that we can reach for, and Lord, help us to continue to target our path, to go forward for you. And Lord, I pray that you just bless our businesses. Lord, I pray for our company and our executives that you would continue to have your hand upon them. And Lord, just lead them. And I pray that you'd protect our company and just use us this week for your honor and for your glory, and help us to share Plexus, Lord, with people that are hurting, that need it. Lord, help us not to be afraid to do that. Lord, help us to get our mindset right. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Amen.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the Hangout tonight. And Julie and I are honored that you've taken a little bit of your time on a Sunday evening to be with us. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.